Get it? It's an apple. We're talking about Fiona Apple. Welcome to Aaron Eats. I eat food. I talk with my mouth open. I review music. That's about it. I hope everyone's safe. I hope everyone's social distancing. I hope everyone's wearing a mask in public. I hope everyone's donating what they can, when they can, food, blood, money, whatever. Support the WHO. Who? Let's talk about Fetch the Bolt Cutters. I'm only like 2 weeks late to the conversation, but that's okay. So not to sound like Pitchfork, and not to sound like I'm overcompensating for the Fantano shitstorm, but 10 out of 10? I don't know. I really love this album. I gave Win the Pawn an 8. I gave The Idler Wheel a 9. I don't remember what I did for Extraordinary Machine. I don't remember what I gave Tidal, but this feels like the next step, the most natural progression in her career, and it feels like a 10. In terms of my own enjoyment, in terms of, you know, entertainment value, in terms of artistic value, in terms of reception from everyone, like, people went for people's throats over this album. And I think that's incredible that, you know, Fiona Apple still has that power. Obviously she has that power, like, she's amazing, wonderful musician. It's just nice to see, you know, the most depressing thing is when an artist who has been good for so long and that you love and has this huge fan base, and then they drop an album and it's like, this sucks. Luckily, that didn't happen. I want to say, I am a woman who has been scorned by men, but I don't think that is why I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. And I don't think straight white men, whatever, aren't allowed to enjoy or not enjoy this album. We are allowed to have different opinions. It doesn't mean you hate women. I'm not trying to defend Fantano, you know, I'm just saying, let's calm down, okay? A man didn't like an album by a woman, and a woman liked an album by a woman. Gender's irrelevant, but it also is very irrelevant in this album, so I don't know what I'm trying to say. Basically, people's musical opinions don't matter, and Fiona Apple doesn't care what you think. That's it. My own included. I just like to talk about it. And I like this album, and I want to talk about that I liked it. You know what I don't like? Apples. So that's a fun fact. The things I do for attention on the internet. I don't even, like, when is it too much at the core? Like, when you stop going in? I'll find out, I guess. There's no flavor, the texture's weird. There's no point. But anyways, now that I've rambled about nothing, let's talk about the album. Fetch the Bolt Cutters. Right off the bat, I Want You to Love Me. Amazing. I started crying immediately. I think it really sets the tone for this album and how she's gonna be more emotional lyrically. She's gonna be more avant-garde, noisy, experimental, whatever you want to say, more vulgar, more provocative than we're used to from her. And I think some people didn't like that. I personally loved it. I think it shows kind of the impact that, I don't know how to word this. I don't want to be like, she's old and is jaded. Like, no. Just, you know, as time goes on, you're less, you know, sensitive about you're less touchy and nice about things. You don't care, and it's like, this is what it is. And I feel like that comes across in this album, and I love that. I love how intense it is. I love how emotional it is. I love how, like, kind of calling out the bullshit, saying it what it is, kind of whole thing we got going on in this album. I loved it. I've never been cheated on. But when Newspaper came on, I was like, yes. I have been emotionally abused by men, though, so I can relate on that level. Anyways, I think when I first listened to the song Fetch the Bolt Cutters, it wasn't my favorite, and I was like, why is this the title track? What are we doing? But as I kept listening to it, I was like, this is definitely kind of the craziest, all over the place. Not crazy and like she's crazy, but you know what I mean? It's all over the place, lyrically, instrumentally. And it's lyrically the most, like, honest. All of it's honest. I don't know what I'm saying. I get on here and I bullshit for 10 minutes. Not really. I have ADHD. And it's hard to remember all the things I want to say about an album that I've listened to 5 times and really like when I'm eating an apple, Because the apple is crunchy. And that's all we can focus on. Anyways, Fetch the Bolt Cutters, the song. The more I listened to it, the more I was like, this is really empowering. This is like a ballad. This is an anthem. This is, as a woman, I love this. But I don't even think you have to be a woman to feel this as empowering as it is and as, uplifting as it is. That's just what it is. I think the fact that I am a woman puts sprinkles and flavors on my enjoyment of this album, but again, I don't think you have to be a woman to enjoy this, to be critical of it, to whatever. I'm repeating myself. It doesn't matter. Protect women at all costs. Shamika, I love that song. Made me laugh. The very ending of it kind of sounded like Bluish by Animal Collective. I don't know if that was just me, but I was like, whoa. Maybe that's why I love this album so much. Because it sounds like Animal Collective, and I was like, hold on. You're trying to find ways to make a woman's successful album be connected to a man's success, and we're not doing that. So, anyways, great album, Fiona. I loved Ladies, I love For Her. Just listening to them, just like, oh, so good. Every song on this album stands on its own, and it's a completely different, like, feeling, but kind of a feeling that's hard to even describe. And that's why I love this album so much. Like, it all stands on its own. It's long. It's like an hour-long album. And there's a lot of songs on it. But they all are so good, and they're so complex in different ways, and have such different moods, and lyrically are so, like, And so, I don't know. And a lot of the songs I felt like meaning-wise, maybe I just wasn't listening to them that intensely, but there were a few that, like, felt pretty... This is already getting brown. Ew. Why do y'all eat apples? There were songs that I felt like meaning-wise were really ambiguous. And I love songs like that because maybe I'm just projecting. But I love songs like that where you feel a very extreme emotion, but lyrically it's not saying like, this is what this is about. So it leaves room for you to project onto it. I don't know, I think that's the mark of a great artist right there. Allow me to project onto your music, because I will. Heavy Balloons is the song I was projecting on, so I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. Again, I know I like rambled about women and men and gender politics and all of that, but it felt like unavoidable when talking about this album, especially considering everything that's gone on. But considering everything that's gone on is what makes me think this is even more a 10 out of 10, in my personal opinion, because it's like, this has had such an impact. Like, it's, you know, this is gonna be remembered, this is gonna be talked about, this is gonna be definitely album of the year for a lot of people, maybe me, I don't know. But this album was a big deal. Like, period, there's no denying that. And, yeah. It's a 10 out of 10. I'm sorry, Fiona. You're talented, you're great. I love you. But I know you don't care what I think, and that's what I love about you. So that's all I really gotta say. In Corona 2020. Don't be stupid. Again, donate food, money, blood, spread the wealth. That's it, bye.